So I'm sitting here next to the Dianthus. As you can see, there are no flowers, but it was in full bloom. It was beautiful, so many flowers. I think the most impressive thing is this Dianthus. Wow. There are just a couple left here, but what I want to do is deadhead this. I do have a video up about how to deadhead Dianthus. I've done it before, but this year there are way more blooms, so I'm deciding whether I just want to shear it or if I want to cut each stalk one by one, which could be tedious given how many there are. If you look at them one by one, you can see all the different flowers that have withered. This one over here that was further away from the road didn't get as big as the other two and flowered less. It still has a couple tattered blooms. If you look closely at each spent bloom, you can see some of them come in pairs or multiples. So when you deadhead, you want to make sure that you're not cutting off little buds that may turn into flowers. This one here has one spent flower. I don't see any buds along the stem. So I'm going to follow the stem down and cut it or pinch it right above. Oh, can't. Well, I couldn't pinch it with my fingers, so I have these scissors here. I'm just going to cut it there. And just a plain old stem. You can see nothing was going to grow from this. If I wanted to, I could just go through and cut. Saving me lots of time. If you do this method, you risk cutting new buds like these. Using that method, you end up having all these buds here you need to clean. It kind of makes a mess. But it's definitely doable, and if you don't have time, go for it. I did sacrifice a couple buds doing that, but I did try to avoid a few as I saw them. These will produce little flowers. There's one that little bud I cut in half, and a few others here. But other than a little bit of cleanup, I'm pretty much done with that plant. Personally, I prefer to go one by one, so just follow the stem down and pick it off. Here's two, they've already flowered. I'm just going to go down there and cut it with my fingertips. There's a new bud right there. Even has a little bit of pink. There's a new bud, but this is a spent one. Brown, empty. You can also use scissors or pruners. Follow the stem and cut. You can cut above a set of leaves, or you can go a little bit lower. Some spent blooms. For me, this method is more relaxing. I feel like I get to know the plant. I feel like I'm caring for the plant more. There's a little bud, I think. And you can see there's light green grass. That's new growth. They're leaves. It's not grass, but it looks grassy. It has a grassy texture. There's a bud. There's a spent bud. Bloom, spent bloom. If you cut the leaves a little, it's okay. It just makes it stronger, like your lawn. Here's a good example of a stem with a spent flower and a new bud. And this is why I don't like shearing, because you miss these things and then you miss out on possible blooms. So for that one, what I'm going to do is cut just that part, leaving the bud for blooming time. Here's another example of a spent bloom with a little bud coming out from where it began. And again, you just want to pinch it or cut it right there so that you leave a new bud grow. Here's yet a different example. This bud is spent, but this one is new, so they're kind of coming from the same spot. You can pull this out, try to get the part where the seeds are made, and leave that. And here's another one. Our spent flower is a little taller, so it's easier to cut without bothering the other one. I'm using these scissors only because I misplaced my pruners, but anything works. The pointier, the easier. These are a type of carnation, or in the carnation family. If you accidentally cut off a new bud, it's okay. They will still grow. And if they don't grow this year, they will come back next year. It helps me to pull on the piece that I want to cut. You can wiggle it to see where it's located to help. To help you with your aim down the stem, I guess is a good way to put it. You could just cut the flower like this, but then you're stuck with these little sticks, stick-like stems sticking out of the top, and it's not as pretty as just having like the grassy texture in the buds. These are actually growing right next to the road here, and this road is salted throughout the winter, and they get snowed on and everything, and they're very happy. These two are even more happy than the one that's further away from the salty road. So they seem to do well over here by the mailbox. So the second one is finished. I decided just to leave that little tiny blossom, even though it's kind of tattered. And then you can see all the new buds hanging up over the plant itself, hanging out. Actually, I think this is spent. And then there's my little pile from that one plant. And because there are no signs of disease or anything like that, this can all go into your compost pile. And while you're down here, you can just clean things up. You have leaves laying around or weeds growing. Just pluck them up. That's a woodpecker. You can see here the dianthus is spreading. I think it's even rooting in some spots. So there you go, that's it. You have a little dianthus bouquet and some happy dianthus plants.